Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is June 17th, and today we're taking a look at the system spreading precipitation back up over the Pacific Northwest. We do have some thunderstorm risks going on across the area: Okanagan Highlands, Cascades of Oregon, Spokane, Pullman, Lewiston, and there is a marginal and a slight risk across portions of the Idaho Panhandle into northwest Montana. We'll take a look at that in some detail here coming up. But you can see this precipitation moving up across the northern Willamette Valley is eventually going to spread up into the Puget Sound this afternoon as well. So diving right into things here, let's take a look at the visible satellite imagery. You can see that upper level low out here spinning this precipitation back up over the region here. Going to remain pretty cloudy here, western Washington, western Oregon, so we're not going to destabilize too much. Very low chance for a thunderstorm, but there is a severe risk out here across Idaho Panhandle and northwest Montana. We're going to look at that here in just a moment. You can see National Weather Service, Missoula, Montana, showing where they expect these strongest storms to occur here, and up to 1 inch hail. I think that's been upgraded now. I think we're looking at potential for some significant hail in this area. They just upgraded this risk on the SPC. Heavy downpours exacerbating ongoing flooding, especially burn scar areas. Winds to 60 miles per hour out here as well too. So heads up if you're in the backcountry there, northwest Montana into the Idaho Panhandle is also included in this threat as well. And checking this out here, let's check out the day one. We have a slight risk out there now. Look at this hail, significant hail, hatched area out here. Does just clip Missoula there, and there is actually a tornado threat that does include Missoula, Montana there as well today. So heads up if you're in the backcountry out there today. Now, taking a look here at Seattle, we did get to 67 yesterday. There were some pretty good sun breaks across the area. We did have some showers, some moderate showers. I was hoping for a lightning strike, but we did not get anything, not that I saw anyway. I didn't see any reports. But you can see as we go into June 19th and 20th, we start to average 72 degrees here at SeaTac, and we're probably only going to be to the low 60s today and tomorrow. So we're well below normal still. That's going to continue for the next couple of days. Now, this is the wrap kind of showing the destabilization that's going to be going on across the Idaho Panhandle into northwest Montana. A little bit of destabilization for western Washington, Oregon, and the southern Cascades here. But I don't know about lightning for Portland or Seattle or Vancouver today. It does not look like it's going to happen. And I pulled a sounding out here in northwest Montana, and I got a tornado threat here, potential hazard type tornado. Pretty good instability in the profile here, some good shear, a little bit of turning in the atmosphere as well, but probably big hail is the main severe risk, as well as that heavy precipitation, especially in those burn scar areas like we mentioned. Now, checking this out, the NAM 3KM, you can see this precipitation moving up across the Puget Sound, Cascades into the Olympics as we go through the day. But check out some of these stronger storms firing up across western Montana today. So that's why there is that very slight tornado risk out there. But some of these storms could have really big hail, significant hail threat out here ongoing today. They have that hatched area for potential of 2+ inch hail in the region out there. And as you go through Saturday, you can see some residual showers, western Washington, western Oregon. And again, they're going to have a thunderstorm threat for tomorrow on in through many portions east of the Cascades, that is. But right now, there's no severe threat out there for tomorrow issued just yet anyway. So taking a look here at the HUR, you can see that precipitation, good agreement with the NAM, swings it up through the Puget Sound. Some of these stronger storms show up all the way into eastern British Columbia here on the high resolution rapid refresh, as well as, into Alberta, western Montana. So heads up if you're out there, especially if you're out in Glacier or the backcountry out here in northwest Montana, heads up today. Now, taking a look at the NAM 3KM here, you can see we don't even get to the 60-degree mark here in Seattle on the NAM 3KM. Of course, warmer east of the Cascades, which is usual for this time of year. And as we go through the day Saturday, very well below average for western portions as well as eastern Washington. This trough is going to keep us below normal coming up here through the next few days. This is the GFS. I just wanted to show you guys the simulated water vapor, some of the cool features of some of these models. It kind of shows this low diving down and showing that moisture back up over the region here, giving us our severe threat today for eastern portions, Idaho, and extreme western Montana. But you can see that kind of trough just kind of hanging around for the next couple days. Now we'll look at the extended here in a minute, but I wanted to show this. The European not calling for much lightning potential for western Washington or Oregon. You can see that potential though for across western Montana, Idaho Panhandle, and extreme eastern British Columbia, as I've mentioned. So taking a look here, precipitation total, you can see these values build up over Seattle. Looks like over 1/3 of an inch according to the European for Seattle. Pretty good amounts for the Cascades. You can see this going to be kind of a hit and miss nature as these storms come up over the higher terrain of Idaho on into Glacier. Some pretty good values. This could cause some flooding through some of these areas today. These rivers and streams are, this snow is melting at this time of year. And this is the time where that flooding can occur out, especially portions east of the Cascades. Now, taking a look here, this is the North America. You can see Washington, Alaska, Oregon, California here. The Aleutian Islands is a pretty big area of low pressure out here, very cold air aloft. And you can see our trough kind of hanging out across the region here as the next trough starts to make its way towards us as we go through midweek. So no rest for the weary here. Another trough is probably on its way. The European has backed off a little bit on the strength of this trough here the last run or two, but we'll continue to monitor that for the next few days. Now, taking a look here, you can see this is 5,000 feet temperatures, 850 millibars. You can see the southern hemisphere. It's their winter time now, so they're starting to get that cold air building up down there across the South Pole. You can see our trough here, and you can see the next one kind of marching into our area too. It's not much like summer right now across the Pacific Northwest. And you can see our troughing is going to continue here probably on into early next week. But we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit there. Let's take a look at 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. There goes the trough moving through the area. It shows some ridging building in here ahead of this next trough. So I kind of wonder how much we're going to warm up here early in the week, probably dry out a little bit before this next trough comes across the area. And the European has not been bullseyeing the Pacific Northwest quite as much with this trough here on the last couple of runs. So we'll see how this works out. GFS, let's check this one out here too. Let's back it up. See the trough moving through, and here we go into early next week. Some ridging building across the area before this next trough opens up and kind of hangs out on the GFS through the extended. So we're getting pretty far out there, 10 days. So we'll watch this and see how this trough develops and see what kind of weather we can expect from that, because a trough this time of year can bring thunderstorms to pretty much any portion of the Pacific Northwest. This is Yakima showing the troughy conditions here too, and then a bit of a warm up as we go on in through the extended. Here's the European, not as warm as the GFS, and that seems to be a kind of a recurring theme here as far as comparing the GFS to the European here on these ensemble runs temperature wise. National blend of model warms up the Yakima area pretty well as we go on into next week. This is Seattle-Tacoma National blend of models, keeps us below average all the way in through the extended period here, but we get closer to being towards the average in the weekend time frame. But we'll see how that goes. It's a bit far out, and the models are still kind of in flux with just how that trough is going to impact us through next weekend. Here's Portland as well, up towards average as we get through mid and later next week. Vancouver as well. Looks like a warm-up maybe coming next weekend. We can hope. We'll take a look at that. We'll continue to look at that. This is the SeaTac. You can see some of the variation in these ensemble runs, but generally the mean and the control are in good agreement here, just generally over 1/3 of an inch as we move through tonight. So some pretty good precipitation coming across the area. If you didn't water your garden the last couple of days and you didn't get any showers, you might welcome this. Here's for Yakima, generally less than 1/10 of an inch coming up here. Eastern Oregon, Pendleton. You can see some of the variation in these ensemble runs, and this would mean a thunderstorm probably moved over the area in one of the ensemble members. But the control and the mean are generally good agreement, generally about 1/10 of an inch of precipitation. Spokane, same thing. Actually, control is less than the mean here, and you can see some of the variance in some of these ensemble runs. Now, this is something special here I wanted to show you. June 1st, this goes month by month. You can see June, the troughing, and that's been pretty accurate. It's been plaguing us for a while here. So we go through August. You can see the general troughing over Alaska continues through August. Oh, did I skip? I skipped July. Let's go back to July. You can see the Pacific high set up out here, generally higher heights than average. Maybe we'll get a decent July for much of the Pacific Northwest here, but we'll have to watch this as it comes, of course. This is just kind of a general signal. Going through September, October, look at this signal for some Gulf of Alaska troughing going on. Maybe we'll get a big windstorm out here again in October as we did last year. Remember the big bomb cyclone that made headlines out here across the Pacific Northwest. Here's November, general troughing off of BC, Alaska, Gulf of Alaska. Now look at this signal in December, big ridging out here over the Pacific, kind of a classic troughing for Western North America here too. This would be a cold signal for the Pacific Northwest. So something way out in fantasy land that just kind of fun to look at this point, but doesn't mean much. Maybe this is another La Nina signal though, kind of thrown in here. So yeah. Yeah, watch out if you're on the Idaho Panhandle, western Montana today. Some pretty strong storms going through the area. Some significant hail that extends up into Canada, eastern British Columbia, and Alberta as well. So heads up if you're out there. Watch out for a lightning strike or two for the higher terrain, Okanagan Highlands, and the Oregon Cascades as well through the day today. And just good old-fashioned rainy day here for Portland and Seattle. As you can see, the cloud cover just kind of engulfing the entire region here. But yeah, so we'll keep on taking a look at what this next trough is going to do too. Sometimes these troughs can be fickle at this time of year. We're getting towards that point where these troughs really start to lose their steam at this time of year. So maybe we'll get some nice weather as we move into mid-week next week and on into next week. And we'll just kind of take it day at a time here. But hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Click like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.